Apply, close. Break out the IRL rig. I mean, it would be fine if we did that. I'm using a Windows system for IRL. I guess we're back, yeah. Yep. All right, let's learn to code. Let's learn to code, and let me show you the book here. All right, so we're gonna go through the book first, and then eventually on this day we're gonna go through coding. It says I'm having quite a few drop frames still. It says I'm still dropping frames. Yeah, I need a new router. I don't know what's going on there. I wonder what's up with that. Are you guys there? Check 1, 2, check. It is dropping a lot of frames. It's even saying so, though. I wonder if I have an IP conflict. Yeah. I might actually have an IP conflict. Here, let me try something. It says it stopped. 0.4 gigahertz. Yep. Yeah, I hate it. It's going down now. I want to learn to code. Okay, let's do it. I'm pretty sure I have an IP conflict, and that's why I was having a problem. So I was debugging that the other day. I apologize for that, everybody. Pretty sure there are packet collisions with my home lab server, and I think I just fixed that. So we should be okay now. Should being the operative word. Getting your router, but this shit's expensive. Yeah, I know. Those are trips to microservice. All right, so let's talk about coding. So in both of the chat, I think it's still pinned. So you haven't missed anything. If everybody who's just here, I'm gonna post the chat for you guys to go see this. And we're gonna go for another hour, and we're gonna actually start coding. And I'm gonna take you through the beginning of the book here. And quite honestly, I'm gonna start this video because we restarted the video. I'm gonna go ahead, and the other video is kind of the beginner boost stuff, and this video is gonna be mostly for coding. Just to let you know, I'm probably gonna split the schedule in half and make the second half of the boost to talk. The first half, let's do it right now, actually. Let's make the first half of the boost answering questions for people. And the second half of the boost will be working through the CodeMage book. Okay, so and I'm going to start working through the CodeMage book every week. We're going to be working through it, and I'll just show you what we're doing there. And um, I don't naming. I'm a little struggling with a little bit on the names here, but it doesn't really matter as long as we do it right. So this is going to be Code Mage. I'm going to call it Code Mage, and I guess we can put a little wizard in the thing. Wizard. A little wizard. Okay, so let's keep going on this. How are you finding the course? So starting young basic age, assembly now, I'm in the 40s, bachelor's degree, nice. Okay, so so for the next hour, all I'm going to do is be working through the book. I did say earlier that the beginner boost time on Sunday was going to be me mentoring you one-on-one, and that's what we've been doing for the last 90 minutes. It's been me talking to you about things related to how to get a job and stuff, and what job to get, and what I think about the job market, and all that kind of thing. That's very much in the mentoring realm. But another big part of this is the book. So the place to go get the book has been linked already. Let me go pin Jalapi's link. If you haven't gone out here, please go check it out. Please give it an up, like, and all that stuff so we can help other people find it. And it's, it's a work in progress. It just barely started this week, so it's got a lot of work here. If you see typos, please let me know. You can, read the contributors thing there if you want to understand, how contributions work and stuff. You can read about that. And so it's more than a boost, picking on tools, discussing book writing and stuff. Yes. So let me just say that is, that's what this is about. Right. So, this isn't really a course. It's just a book, but we are going to just work through it. So there's all the copyright stuff, just so you know. Who's the book for? Who's this course for? It's for anybody. It's very fantasy based. The reason it's I'm just paraphrasing. I'm going through it really fast. So why is it magic based? It's magic based because you'll remember it better. You'll remember it better if you have something to associate with in your brain. You can read that if you want. What's included? So the book is just about learning how to code, period. And from the terminal. So everything necessary to do that. That's it. So there's a lot of stuff that's not covered. So I just want to be clear on that. So there is a command that's coming with this. The Go course, the Go command, that this is not done. I just barely started it. There is a copy of it right now. You can actually run it. You can go do the installation, and I'll show you how to do that. But this course is going to have, or this book is going to have a command that goes with it, and the command actually has the book built into it. So you can actually run it, and it'll pop up in your web browser, and you can read the book anywhere without an internet connection. So if you're at school or something and you want to work on it and you don't have access to the internet, you can do that. Eventually it'll have dynamic context to help you type and, figure out your stuff you're working on and all that. Okay. So how to use the book. Remember, a new skill or concept is, of course, it's got, so the whole point is we're going to be reading through different bits of code and stuff, and there'll be something to remember it by, some mnemonic device, and then there'll be a problem, and then how to solve the problem, and then I'll walk you through how to solve the problem, and then you should create your own problems and make up your own problems, and then keep repeating them until you've mastered it. And then as soon as you think you've mastered it, you should go teach somebody else. And I want to be really clear on this. If you haven't mastered it until you've taught somebody else. So when I mentored people in person, once we had a concept, they would practice it, during their time with me, and then they would have to teach it to somebody else in the class. They'd go to the other person in the class, and they would explain it to them, and they would help them understand it, and then they would let them do it, sometimes for the first time. And then that, you don't know it until you can actually teach somebody else about the concept. So, a lot of people are going to gloss over this stuff, and that's up to you, but I'm not. Repetition is about their learning. There's a lot of repetition here at the beginning when you're learning how to code. You don't know what you're doing. and you need to get good, you need to memorize stuff. It's just like code katas and stuff. It goes without saying. You have to repeat stuff to have it stick in your brain. Teaching someone else is definitely the best way to learn, but you can't do it because you can't. And this, by the way, all relates to something called Bloom's taxonomy, which we're going to talk about. So Bloom's taxonomy, which Het Tannis was talking about the other day as well, has a number of verbs that you can just summarize: remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So you can dig into Bloom's taxonomy if you want to understand what that means. This is the levels of learning and the way you're going to get a thing in your brain, have it go in your brain. It's pretty intuitive. You don't need to be an academic, with a degree in instructional design to understand how people learn. You just need to, internalize the idea of being able to teach it, being able to describe it, being able to do it without help, and then being able to teach it to somebody else. Synthesize. There used to be a synthesized verb in here. You could actually make new ideas out of it, right? So yeah, rubber ducking is a great way to try it if you don't have anybody else to talk to, for sure. One of the reasons I do it so much. Supplement your reading. So this goes without saying, join a community. We're here for you. You can come join a community with us. If you need somebody to practice teaching, you can reach out to them. I do want to get more active in the Discord, but more importantly, I'm going to be adding a Slack chat in addition to Discord. That will be the main place that I go for collaboration. And that's very specific. Slack is the most likely the tool that you will use for collaboration on the job, not Discord. So we're going to be switching to Slack for development, collaboration, projects like that. So this project and any other projects will be in Slack. And, we'll go with it from there. So that is a little bit weird for me, though, because I do have, work chat and Slack. So I'm going to have to be careful because how much I share that with you guys. Slack has not been set up yet. Yeah, I haven't set up yet. I'm working on that. That should be set up by next week. Assuming I don't have to pay or whatever. I don't even know. I haven't even looked. So that would be the community for you to join, ask questions, and, help to mentor somebody else. Feynman method. Yep. Explain the concepts or metaphor concisely while avoiding jargon. Yes. Yeah. And that's the kind of thing. That's one of the reasons that I'm using the kind of silly magic thing. I've been criticized for using the magic silliness. Like, just stick with the facts, Rob. And the reason is very specific. If you can use metaphors, including from the magic realm or something, and you have a visual to associate with, it'll help you hit more of those bases of Bloom's taxonomy so you can master the thing. You'll be able to recall it much better. The magic stuff, and this is eventually, it doesn't have any pictures in it now. Eventually this is going to be full. The final version of this book is going to have really extensive art in it. And I'm going to start out with AI generated art, and then I'm slowly going to pay for actual artists to do it. And before I start pitching this book at conferences and stuff to entire school districts, it'll be a work of art. It really will be. That's my goal. And it's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be cheap because if I put that much art in the book, it's automatically going to push the price like through the roof. But it's the only book that will have that kind of stuff in it. So, of course, there's a free version online. If you always can use that if you don't have the money to buy the other one, the paper print one. I don't know what it's going to cost. It's going to be, but I am not shying away from appendixes or anything that I would keep the page counts down. I'm not doing any of that. That stuff is all in here. In fact, let's talk about the organization of the book for a bit. Let me just break from this and go to the organization of the book. So this book has a preface, which is, the stuff that we're in right now. We're in the supplement your reading section. It has an introduction, which is largely stuff that you can just skip unless you want to. This is the thing that's going to motivate you and talk about why you need to code. If you're already chomping at a bit to get coding, you probably don't need to read the introduction at all. The introduction is designed to pull you in and say, hey, make you want to code. And it's targeted at people who want to code, but it's also targeted at parents and teachers, and with them in mind to help them get interested in it. So they'll want to learn to code and why. The introduction also goes over what it's going to take to be a coder, and and why Go, which is obvious, right? We have to have that, and then we're going to go through another section. So the prepare section is relatively short now, comparatively. It was actually really really long before, much longer, because I had you individually setting up all of the stuff, all of the tools, and we're going to get there in a bit, but we're not going to do that right now. The CodeMage tool is going to set up all these tools for you automatically, and then you can just get going with your coding. But you still have to learn a few things. You're going to have to learn basic shell commands, which you can learn all of this stuff in about an hour. I know that because I've helped over 500 people learn basic shell, basic Vim, basic tmux in less than an hour. So that's not going to take you very long. Learning how to use the W3 web browser, and there's some AI, how to use an AI, the Claude AI. That probably be a separate thing. That's new. I've never done that before, so we're gonna teach that as a part of it. And then learning to code. So learning to code is the biggest section right now. It's the smallest, but we get into the fundamentals, elements of coding, variables, logic, functions, and data structures. Does it require Linux and Windows? It's anything, Windows, Mac, or Linux, whatever you want. So, and it combines the elements. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, because in the old days, I used to require you have Linux first, and not anymore. This is, the CodeMage will install Bash on your machine no matter what it is. And so you can do the entire thing on a Windows machine. It will install the Lacquery terminal by default as well. So there is some talk about maybe having the option for which terminal you want to install, but it's the CM, the CodeMage tool, is an installer. It's going to do a bunch of things for you. It doesn't do any of that yet, so that's not we're not ready for that yet. I just started this week. So the commands in Linux are different from Linux. They aren't in Bash though. No, not if you put git bash on there. They're the same. Yeah. So, and no WSL, and there's an appendix on why no WSL. I'm not going to go into it. If you want to read about the why nots, they're all in the appendix. So I could probably go show you. The appendix has got the legal stuff. It's also got all the why nots and the whys, all the arguments that we might have about picking this or that. Why having a book? What's wrong if you consider this? Why winget? Why bash? Blah blah blah. If you want to know the justification, I went ahead and wrote them up and put them in the appendix. But in general, I'm not going to talk about it during the main stream. You're going to have to go read about it. And if you have a specific question, you can come back and ask. You gave up on WSL finally after tech difficulties? Does not surprise me at all. Install Git Bash. You'll love it. Yeah. So memory works through association, relating information, relevant memories is, yes, where it clicks. Absolutely. So, so here's an example of an actual coding segment. This is Hello World. This is how they're all going to look. They're not done yet, but they're all going to be, there's all going to be some sort of, magic related thing. The book of the artificial shop, I must read. So, and then it has package main. I really love this about AsciiDoc. This is one of the primary reasons I went with AsciiDoc, is you can actually, rather than having annoying line numbers, you can actually call out specific areas in the code over here. And let me zoom in for you so you can see. But it's really pretty. I really love it. And that actually translates. So as of this moment, I'm not automatically building the EPUB, the Android, and the PDF, but all I have to do is just build them. They're available as well. So so there'll be an EPUB, a PDF, and the website, and you can, and of course the downloadable thing with the website inside of it. You'll be able to do that, and then you can be able to do all your coding. There will be eventually a checker based on my Skillbot application that I wrote years ago that will check your code and help you out and notice problems proactively while you're coding. So if you open up a new window or pane, you can leave that open and it can kind of just give you a status of how well you're doing and time you and all that stuff. That's all planned. We don't have that yet, but that stuff will be there. Right now though, I just wanted to get through the book and I wanted to get you guys started on it. So if you want to move ahead, so let's go back to where we were, and then when we get to the section about when we get to this section about reading, um, about preparation, we can talk about preparation. Let me go back to the beginning. Again, there was no book last week. I did all of this in 1 week, and I have the next week off. So my goal is to have the entire book and the tool done by before Christmas, so that the week of Christmas we can go through the entire book, in a really fast way. So I'm planning on doing an entire video series that covers every single lesson in the book. So I have an entire video series to go with the book, after Christmas, but we'll be recording all that stuff during Christmas. So if this is kind of the boost, but it's not. So I don't know. It's kind of weird that way. Anyway, all right. So how to use the book? I told you, find a mentor, be a mentor. Okay. So there you go. Consider AI assistance, be a mentor. Consider AI assistance. Find a mentor or be a mentor. So this is a really important part of this book, is that you need to be. This book is absolutely designed to be entry for a beginner. It's designed to be like 10-year-old reader level, and with help. So this book is targeted at mostly 12-year-olds, but anybody can do it. But a lot of people would think that it's targeted for much older people because it's got terminal stuff in it and NeoVim and everything. But I'm here to tell you, and I'm going to zoom in for this, I have taught 9-year-olds this same stuff, and they are fine. So you can do it. It's not as hard as you might imagine. And some of it's going to appeal to kids, but and if anything, the language in the book is going to be a little rough for some of the kids to read. But it's the purpose of this book primarily is so that I have a book to carry around, 1 or 2 or 3 books that I can carry around during retirement, and I can go around the country or the world really and travel and teach people to code and get them started at a really young age. That's the primary motivator. But that could be, I've taught all kinds of people that age, including people in their 60s. I've taught housewives to code who've always wanted to get into it. So that's what this is for. This is for them. But yeah, so be a mentor, make sure you're a mentor, consider AI assistance. I'm going to spend a moment on this. So, AI, obviously, as anytime you see, a bit of this book that's kind of dripping in like magic theme, it almost always was written by AI. And I actually had the AI help me write some of that. And I got no shame in that. It's been really great. Chloe's been able to write a lot of my code. I think Claude would be just as good to do code. And in a way that is going to compile, doesn't have errors in it. So there's a lot of reasons to use AI. If you don't have AI and you are trying to learn something or get a job, one of the expenses that I would actually definitely splurge to spend money on is an AI. If you're going to learn coding, I would probably suggest Claude, even though I don't have it yet. And we're going to talk about Claude and ChatGPT. I still believe ChatGPT is a better AI for general usage. It does enough of the coding to be valuable, but it also does everything else better. So I practice my language instruction with it. I take it on my bike and use it on my phone while I'm in the car, on my bike, or wherever. I can interact with it when I'm planning projects and that have a budget with them, or time schedules and everything. It's one of the most amazing interactive tools that I've ever had, and I cannot say enough about it. So anyway, I definitely want to put that in here. If you're trying to learn a new thing, there's just, if you had to pick one, I would get Chloe, just because Chloe can benefit you in multiple ways. And you can do the $20 thing. I am no longer going to be doing the API for ChatGPT, which is the command line thing, because I'm going to do that with Claude, because all my API stuff from the command line is usually, when you see me use the question mark or whatever, that stuff is usually API driven. So I'm going to try to use that Claude for that. So, I don't know if we're going to actually do a thing about how to set that up. Mods will already be set up for you, so you just have to put your token in and you'll be good to go. So with the CodeMage is going to install mods for you. It's going to install your command line tool to talk to AI. It'll be on your computer after you finish running init, CM init. So here's the introduction, why to learn to code. I don't know how much of this, I'm just going to skim over this because I have a feeling a lot of you already know this. Why should you learn to code? Duh. I mean, it gets you creativity, real world problems, get your career in tech, enhance your critical thinking, future-proof your skills, join a global community, start your journey today. Life of a CodeMage. So again, part of this introduction is like helping people decide whether they want to be a coder or not. A lot of you might not want to be a coder. So you need to know what you're going to get into. You know, CodeMage lives at the intersection of logic and creativity, wielding the power of code to conjure solutions, automate tasks, and build entire digital realms. Like a craftsperson of magic, their days are filled with discovery, problem solving, and relentless pursuit of mastery. So you have a morning ritual. You have a bunch of things that you're doing all the time. You have your regular practices of the day. You know, you're using Git. You're maybe using an AI consultant. That looks like it needs some formatting fixes. I need to fix that. Encountering challenges, moments of triumph, lifelong learning. I mean, anybody that's been following my channel knows that I'm an example of coder. So, you know, which means, you know, you can make your own decisions about that. Most of this section right here, I would actually cover informally with people if they just asked me questions about what it means to be a coder. But I went ahead and put it into print, or whatever, to stuff so people can read about it. How you doing, Zol? What it takes. Okay, so this is actually really important. There's a big warning here. Do not attempt to work through the book unless you can type 30 words a minute from home row. And I mean it. Don't even try it. If you do, you're on your own. You have to be able to have your fingers at home row to do this book. If you want to ignore that and you just want to do your own thing and use VS Code and you don't care about home row typing in VI, that's fine, but you're making a conscious decision to go against what the book is going to do. So I think that that's a mistake, but you do you. Curiosity for thirst for knowledge. Yeah, okay, we got all that. So some of this stuff is like, it tells you about why you would want to code and everything. What it takes curiosity, patience, logical thinking, creative innovation, attention to detail, love of learning, collaboration, communication, resilience, adaptability, passion for the craft. So becoming a CodeMage journey open to all ages, whether you're a young person or old. This is important though. You probably need to have algebra. So you probably, if you're helping someone, they should have algebra so they know what a function is. Are you ready? Can we count 8-bit words? Yeah, I don't know about that. Are you ready? It's up to you. Why Go is the first language? I don't think I need to talk about this, so I'm going to anyway. Go is the Goldilocks of first languages. That means it's strictly typed enough to get a sense of real programming, and it's also loosely typed enough to make it easy and simple to read. Algebra, Khan Academy is good. Yes. And I have people who taught themselves algebra at 10 years old who were aces at coding by 11 because they don't teach coding. They don't teach algebra until 12 or 13 in America. And I know at least one person that I helped mentor who taught themselves algebra when they were 9 or 10. And then they went on to just dominate. And I actually had an interview with them. I said, how are you so good with coding? How do you know about algebra so well? And that was when I learned they taught themselves ahead of the scale. So if that's you, then go for it. Go solves real problems. Okay, so Go might be unsexy, but it's at Google and it solves real problems for an enterprise scale architecture. These resources as a kid, yeah. Hackers love Go. Want to dual class as a hacker or CodeMage. So Go's got you covered. Go is the darling of cybersecurity professionals all over the world. It's so been popular with hackers, Rob Pike actually asked people to stop making malware with it. I still think that's funny. There's an official statement from Rob Pike about please stop making malware in Go because it's so easy. Go is great for terminal applications, which is the main thing we're going to be doing. So prepare. So learning happens in the lab, not lecture hall. You're probably excited to get going, and we've got a blah, blah, blah. So again, learn how to type from home row, item number 0. get a computer, install Go on the computer, install CodeMage using Go, create a personal development environment with CodeMage. In other words, CM init. We're going to get there. Learn basic shell commands so you can get around with the file system and stuff. Learn basic Vim to edit your code, and all of this stuff fits on one screen. It's not that much stuff, people. It's one screen of stuff. Learn basic TMUX in order to get the most out of your terminal. Learn basic Git and GitHub to share your code. For most people, the preparation takes a few hours, but there's no avoiding it to become a true code mage. Okay, I put a caution here. Be careful. Now is the point where you're going to get distracted. You could learn everything there is to know about Linux, Bash, Vim, TMUX, and more. You could spend hours arguing online about the best terminal colors and configuration. You could fight endlessly with people about best editor, Linux, distro, first language, and color schemes. You could defend your decision to use your preferred OS. Just don't do it. You can waste your time later. For now, you have a lot to get ready. So before you're learning code, and then you can come back and you can say, "Hey, I know how to code, and I did it this way," and you can revise it and speak more. Just trust me on a lot of this stuff, right? That's what I'm asking you to do. Is it's like if you're going to a karate class, just trust me. Do wax on, wax off, right? Just trust me. I'm wasting my time, Mr. Miyagi. No, you're not. Wax on. Show me, Sandapro. Show me wax on, wax off. Show me paint defense. You guys know that scene? Go look it up. Go look up Mr. Miyagi. I usually play that at this point because I'm asking you to trust me on this stuff, right? That learning to type, learning to use the terminal right now seems like unnecessary overkill, and I could use VS Code and all this stuff. It's like saying learning wax on and wax off to be a martial artist versus learning fisticuffs so you can go out and fight with a local bully. Yeah, you can do that if you want, or you can become a martial artist. Which one do you want to be? You want to be like prize fighting, running around and trying to fisticuffs the guy, or do you want to be the karate fucking kid? Get a computer. Get a computer before embarking on your journey. Crap, Go code. Get a computer. Do I have to tell you this? What is better, network or software engineering? It depends on what you want to do. By what criteria? What pays more money? So, anyway, so minimum requirements to create and compile Go-based command line applications to your workstation is blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, Mac, Windows, Linux, doesn't matter. Get whatever computer you can. It should be at least 4 gigs of RAM, which is ridiculously low. So you could do this entire thing on a Raspberry Pi if you wanted to. You absolutely can. And so that's the way it goes. A laptop is ideal. I'm not going to argue with you about using a laptop. Laptops are cheap. You can get a $200 laptop at Walmart. That's cheap. It may not be cheap, but that is an investment that is worth tons and tons of money. Considering people paid me $50 an hour just to talk to me for a long time, spending $200 on a laptop is nothing. And that'll give you the freedom to take it with you and to learn in the car, particularly with the CodeMage app. When you put the CodeMage command on your computer, you'll have the entire book and all the stuff necessary to help you out during your coding with you on your computer. So you can be anywhere. You can be on the bus without Wi-Fi. You can be anywhere and you'll have all the stuff necessary to do the work. I really feel strongly about this. And I'm going to have a little side note story here. When I worked at Woodlawn, I was brought in to teach coding at Woodlawn's private school on an old plantation, actually. And there were 42 people or so in the course, and we started out having the internet, and we used the internet. We used Replit, which is this web-based thing to go work and code and everything. And on the first day, nobody could do it because it was too slow. It was too slow. They were typing and they couldn't see their terminal keystrokes. It was taking forever. And then their code was getting lost because of the internet being lost. And it was a pain. It was a total disaster. And I was very saddened by it. I was like, damn, what am I going to do? And I obviously at SkillStack, I had access to the internet. I had a really strong internet connection. It was all great. And so I could force them to do that. But but these kids, I felt really bad. So what did I do? I had everybody, this is before I didn't have time to do terminal things. And a lot of times, I mean, these were absolute beginners who really would have died if I'd given them the terminal right at the same time. So they learned, I gave them VS Code and we did web development. So VS Code was really great for web development. And this was a web development, game development camp. So we used VS Code for that. And by the way, if I ever do a book on web dev and game dev, it will be VS Code because that's the better tool for the job there. Because you're already using your mouse and you're making pictures and stuff, you're dragging stuff around, you're using your mouse all the time. So it's better to have a web-based, sort of a mouse-based development workflow, in my opinion, for web dev. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that strongly disagree with that, but that's just how I feel. So anyway, they all installed VS Code and they put Browser Sync on there. And they were able to do all of their game development on their own laptop without even touching the internet. The only time they even went to the internet was to go get a picture or something so they could put it in their game. That was it. And we survived. I pulled a nosedive out. It would have destroyed the whole class if we had to stay on the internet. So a laptop is ideal because once you get a tool like CodeMage, the CodeMage app on your machine, you don't need it. And this model for development has existed for years. For years and years and years, programmers are on airplanes, they're traveling, they're doing all kinds of things, and they're at their grandma's house or whatever for the holidays, and they don't have really good internet or something. And there's a million reasons to have a laptop that has everything you need to practice your coding on it. My biggest reason is that I get to sit next to my really awesome wife and warm her feet on the couch while I'm writing code. Sometimes I even stream while I'm doing that. She's got her feet behind my back or under my butt, and I'm sitting around and I'm coding away on the laptop. So I strongly believe that laptops will help you have better work-life balance. He said streaming from a laptop in front of a table, and I actually don't like sitting here. I do it for you, but I really don't like it. I don't like sitting here. You wouldn't know that. I do it for 9 hours at a time, but I don't like sitting here. I would rather be like walking around. I'd rather be in the car. I'd rather be in the coffee shop. I'd rather be in front of a fake coffee shop on my television. So the point is, take the moment right now. Christmas is coming up. You got Black Friday deals are coming up. Right. Now is the time. Now is the time to commit and to be a good consumer and go buy. You always your desk for work. You're the kitchen. You're at the kitchen out. Right. So, now is the time to commit to your learning tool. And quite frankly, if you actually do this, you can decide whether you get, what kind should you get? I actually went down here and I said Mac versus Linux, Windows. Let's answer this next question. It's fitting that Pixel's in our chat right now. Pixel convinced me to get a Mac again over a Linux machine. I was this close to buying a really nice computer that I could have installed Linux on, and I absolutely am this 14-inch laptop, which is, don't get a big laptop, people. You don't need one. You don't need a big laptop. Get a 14-inch laptop because you can take it with you more. It's easier to carry around. It's easier to put in your purse or your bag or whatever. It's easier to code on, and it's easier to lift with one hand. That 16 inches is impossible. I have one from work. They gave it to me. It's impossible to lift with one hand practically. I'm a weak old man. So just get a 14-inch Mac if you can. If you can afford it, get a 14-inch Mac and you will die. If you're serious, if you're like really serious about getting into coding and becoming a developer, there is no better computer than a 14-inch MacBook Pro M3. And I am going to stick by that until I die. I swear by that. Now, not everybody has that kind of money. So the next best thing is to get an Acer, $200 Acer or something like that from Target or online or whatever, and put Linux on there. Or, you don't have to put Linux on there right away, but if you want to, you can. If you want to, you can put Linux on there right away. If you don't want to, you can keep Windows on there and you can still do all the coding that we're going to do on Windows. Oh my God, that's impossible, Mr. Rob. How can that be? I promise you can. There's a thing called Git Bash, and you don't even have to install Git Bash. I'm going to install it for you using the CodeMage app. So you don't have to worry about that. ARM-based laptop, but not for committed yet. Yeah, I'm 100. I was a little bit nervous before. No more. No more. It is so battery efficient. It goes 18 hours without a battery change. It's crazy. Actually in sync a lot lately. Actually went on a 14.3. Yeah, you did. For code streaming purposes, 12-hour battery, OBS like a charm. Yeah. Nacho, this I'm streaming, guys. So let me show you guys something really quick if you want to be sold on the whole Mac thing. And again, I have nothing to do with Apple, and as a company, I have different opinions of them, but as usual, you have to make decisions that are based on your best interest and not always your principles. If you know what I'm saying, right? Hey, here I am. Hi. So, this is a Mac. I've always been highly invested in Apple. People always say that I'm not, and I want to just tell you something. I have always been invested in Apple for this kind of thing. For this kind of thing. Apple is the largest Unix distribution on the planet. It is the biggest native Linux distribution. I don't even use Linux anymore. I don't. Almost all of my work is done on my Mac. And then when I have to access a Linux server, I go to a Linux server and I do the work on there. Floating Head Rob is something new. You haven't seen that, but Nacho, you have that, right? So that's if you do OBS, you get Floating Head automatically. It's a thing. It's a thing that comes with it. You know what else it does? It has all these gestures. So I'm only doing this for Nacho because Nacho's a streamer. You get all these really cool streaming things on the Mac. So this is all free. This all comes for free on the Mac. So, you know, it's a great streaming system. It handles multiple. I have a big thing where I have one USB-C I have to plug into my laptop so I can take it with me anytime, and my camera and everything are all connected to my hub, and then I just plug that in and take it away. You do that? You do those things on team meetings? Nice. Look, you know what? It's you can say what you want about Apple, and people do. By the way, if you want to deal with the trolls, and they ask you what distro you have, this is the proper answer. This is the proper answer, my friends. If you're on a Mac and you don't want to deal with the trolls, and they're asking you what distro are you on, as if that mattered. But if they're asking you that, you know what your answer is? And this is not original. Somebody in my chat told me this. They said he uses Unix with a custom desktop environment. I love that so much. You do know that I streamed on Linux for the first 2 years, right? Boss Unleashed. Yeah, I know. Get on my level. I've done it, right? I did it for 2 years. In fact, I was one of the first streamers in all of the software category to stream on Linux and deal with the screen ripping and all the other driver issues. So I have no desire to do that again. $300 refurbished ThinkPad with Arch. Nice. Yeah, Arch is rated for beginners if they want to learn Linux and waste their time. Yeah. A lot of people stream on Linux doesn't mean it's good. I have personal experience with that. I'm not. Right now we're talking about coding and stuff. I could go through a list of 12 reasons to not stream on Linux. Reason number 1, if you want to play a game, I don't want to, we're not going to fight about this. We'll just agree to disagree. If you're going to tell me that Linux is good for gaming, yeah, I'm going to tell you you're full of crap. So good job on this. You got to love the Unix simplicity. I have Fedora. I'm looking at getting a Mac. Yeah. I mean, your name is Foss Unleashed, right? So you're obviously still in the, free and open source is the only way to live land. And that's fine. I was there. I'm not anymore. I'm more practical over human being now. I got nothing against people that are going through that stage of life where they think everything needs to be free and open source and Microsoft's the devil and the Apple is this and that. And I'm like, okay, fine. A 20-year-old Rob listening to like 60-year-old Rob say this would be mortified. Like, that I'm going to become that? That's the guy I'm going to become by the time I'm 60? No, I'm not. Dude, I was such an asshole. I still am, but back then even more. Microsoft's the devil and this and that. And the truth is, you get old and you start realizing it's usually not black and white. It's usually some area of gray. And you have to accept certain things that suck in order to do other things that are awesome. And it's a very hard path to travel as a human being, and it's a very hard line to walk. But you know, if I boycotted every single thing and every single company that didn't do what I fundamentally agree with ethically, I would no longer be able to function as a human being in modern society. So there comes a point at which you just have to say, what's the best thing for me and for those I love? And I don't know what else to say to that. Anyway, long enough to watch yourself become the villain. Live long enough to watch yourself become the villain. I think there is any non-evil. I don't think there is no. There is no. So this Mr. Robot, in the immortal words of Mr. Robot, or Elliot, the immortal words of Elliot from Mr. Robot, nobody told me that I could have changed the company from within. So, spoiler alert, Elliot goes to work for Evil Corp that he tried to take down in the first season, and he discovers while he's there, he actually can institute more change inside of the company, taking down corrupt individuals from inside the company while also building up the positive parts of the company. So instead of disengaging and tearing everything down, he finds out on accident that the solution is to participate, and you can actually change it more from within. And there's a really sad story because his friend tries to do the same thing and she gets corrupted by that idea and ends up going full capitalist and ends up dying. But that's a story for another day. Apple is least likable. I mean, it's been familiar with me. Yeah, go with fun and whatever. Of course, same with the tools. I also have a dock and package to go running locally, so I have access to all the documentation I need locally. I can develop anywhere I want without internet, package size, and GoDock. It's amazing. Pink rubber boots. You're speaking my language. I agree with that. As being a bit unclear, I was agreeing. Streaming on Linux has so many pitfalls, but I've had fun overcoming them. No, it is, and that is fun. Look, I don't want to dissuade you, and I'm having a little bit of fun with you. I hope you don't take it offensively, but I mean, yeah, a lot of the sentiment that comes up on my stream is the same thing that I once upon a time thought. So it's kind of part of my old man nature to rehash that. They got to quit. That quitted when Insomnia came out with the blue, with the paywall cloud login wall for usage on almost 5 years of FOSS software. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it comes. I mean, I owned stock in Red Hat, and then Fedora happened. It's people. There's people that have been disenchanted, and then there's those who will be disenchanted, and it's kind of it's a tough. I'm not saying it's easy. I don't. Do I like that? Apple. It gave me great pleasure to find out how much money they're paying for that official. Did you know Apple got sued for using the Linux keyword, the Linux name? They did. I did not know. It's a really fun. You want to feel a bunch of like warm fuzzies about Apple getting their ass handed to them. It'll make you feel really good. It'll make you like, okay, you'll feel slightly better about using Apple products. Because, Apple, if those of you who don't know, Apple straight up stole BSD Unix and said Steve Jobs was unemployed. He was nobody. He made Nextcube. He wanted to make a new computer company. He didn't have the skills to do that. He didn't have Woz even, I don't think. So he made Nextcube, and he's like, okay, I'm going to steal BSD Unix. It's free. There was no Linux at the time that he knew of anyway. So he put it in there. He made it really pretty like usual. Stole something and he didn't make. Put it in a nice pretty box, literally a pretty box. Convinced everybody it was the best thing in the world. And then they all bought it. Everybody wanted a Nextcube. It was the hottest thing ever. And then Apple tanked. The Apple Computer Company tanked. And they're like, we need you back, Steve Jobs. He goes, okay, but only if I can bring my operating system. And so he brings his operating system back to Apple, forces all Apple computers to kick off the thing that was on there before and put his next OS on there called Darwin. It was called FreeBSD for a long time. And so, boom, all of a sudden, every single Mac computer is running BSD Unix with not even a nod to the people who made it possible. And then over the years, they've slowly come forward and been a little bit more supportive, and they've they've started opening up. But if you ask a random person on the street, and this is why I joke all the time, people are saying, "What computer are you using? What's your disk drive?" I said, "I'm using a Unix system with a custom desktop manager." And they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Let's say you're using a Mac. I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Is Mac Unix?" "Yes." "What Unix is it?" "BSD Unix." And like, "What? You mean Mac is BSD?" "Yeah." "Isn't that thing with the daemon, like the Berkeley thing with that? Is that the same?" "Yes, it is." So Apple got sued. Apple got sued for using the Unix name by another greedy organization, the Unix Foundation, the one that controls the word Unix. The reason Linux exists, or Solaris even, because Unix was like this corporate $3,000, no kidding, $3,000 a seat in this 80s. In the 80s, if you wanted to use Unix, AT&T Unix, you had to pay $3,000 a seat to use it. And then came BSD, and then that's the 80s money. So unless you were a big fat cat who had tons of money because it was invented at Bell Labs by guess who? The same people who invented Go. Ken Thompson and, Pike and Ritchie and all of them. C language was made for Unix. You guys probably know that. To build Unix. And so, yeah, and there you go. So they sued him, and then Apple's like, okay, fine. And they lost the lawsuit. And they lost the lawsuit, and they said, here you go. Here's lots of money. And then, is there money at Bell Labs? All the people at Bell Labs, and I'm going to quote Brian Cantrell of Joyan on this, in Oxide Computers, they are the Bell Labs refugees. The Bell Labs refugees now work at Google. That includes Ken Thompson and Rob Pike. Ritchie would be there if he wasn't dead. He died the same week as Steve Jobs. Nobody knew. The inventor of C died the same week as Steve Jobs, and nobody knows who he was. Meanwhile, Steve Jobs is like, oh no, we lost Steve Jobs. Work for AT&T, yeah. I don't think there's the Bell Labs is still a thing, by the way. Yeah, they have no idea who he is. So Google is the closest thing. It is. I don't like saying that. I want to think that Bell Labs can come back, but who knows? I mean, Ma Bell and AT&T, they got split up. They the same thing has happened to Google right now. Anyway, so Go is the language, and fun run back to market. Yes. Okay. So what I was trying to say is, so Apple actually pays several thousands of dollars every year for the title. And officially, pun 9. So the official title is now, they are officially the largest Unix distribution on the planet. That's a legal statement. Apple Computer is officially, according to the Unix Foundation, the largest Unix distribution on planet Earth. So anytime somebody says they're using a Mac, you'd say, no, I'm using a Unix machine. Like, what? That was a good story time. You like that one? Okay, Rip Dennis, yes. Next Cube, Middle Ages of hardware, software. Pretty box was a nice way to summarize. Gotta love Darwin, yes. Yeah. And yeah, that we went through the workstation age, the whole Silicon Graphics and all that. Which, by the way, in the clip that I have, this clip is a Silicon Graphics machine. You can see it in the corner. This is the age of workstations.
It's a Unix system. I know this. It's all the files of the whole park.
See it down there? It says Silicon Graphics. So there was a time right before, after PCs came out, but before Linux really took off, that Unix workstations for 3D and stuff were a big deal, and we all have them now. Every single one of us has equivalent of a Unix workstation now. But that's kind of where we were. Anyway, so we're going to get down to the next steps here. We have 10 or 15 minutes. Install the Go language. So, guys, here's how you do it. So if you don't know how to get Go on your computer, at least a 3K to rock a Unix license. Yeah, apparently. Shark Crimson 350 build. Oh, you actually know the version of it. What? Super impressed. Okay, so here you go. All right. I know you're going to laugh. There's somebody out there that's like, are you really telling me to run the installer? That's what I'm telling you. Okay. If you've never downloaded software and installed it on your computer before, probably take a time to learn how to do that. most of the people when I'm helping do this, like when I was teaching at the private school, they didn't have admin rights on their computer. And you guys think that this is not something most people have to think about, but guess what? It is. So if you don't have admin rights, you're going to have to ask your mom or dad for this. And very few are probably in that category, but somebody watching this might need to hear that. So if you're on Windows, you click on Windows, and then the thing downloads, and then you open it up, and then it installs on your computer, and you're good to go. Okay? Same thing with Mac. If you're on Mac, you probably want the ARM one, because it's a good chance you're not using an Intel Mac in 2024. Good chance. Good chance you're not. You might be. Okay? So download and install that. That is officially the first step to getting Go. That's a vicious cycle on my dad's admin. Uh-oh. So yeah, you got to know how to install that, right? So that's the first step. Get Go. Get Go on your computer. That is the absolute first step. Okay. What is the next step? And it's in the book, so I'm going to stick with the book. Wait, did I change the count? Where am I? Okay, here we go. Get a computer. We did that. A live laptop is ideal. Wait. We did that. Get Go. Again, this book is online. It's in the chat. It's pinned to both chats. Go click on it so you can follow. If you can't read it, you can follow along there. Install Go. Do not go the container way. That may many online teachers recommends it later. That is a later step to use. Yeah, we are not doing containers anymore. So I'm glad you brought that up because we are no longer doing that. We're no longer doing that. We're no longer doing the step of containers. They're just too much of a hassle. And also you can't do fun things. Do you remember that clip I just played? Remember when I ran that little clip and it ran on the screen? How are you going to publish it? What do you mean publish it? So the book is already published. I'm going to publish it everywhere. You can get it for free. You can go out to the website right now. But I'm also going to publish it in print on Amazon. So I'll get to that later if you guys want to know. But yeah, I'm physically going to publish it. I'm looking at a couple different publishers, so we'll see which one ends up winning. I'm going to try to use the same one that Chris Nova used for her Hack Capitalism book. I don't know where though. Settling on CPAN with admin rights. Lexus CD, my beloved, great response. Yes. Print on Demand existed for a good long while. Yeah, Print on Demand is probably the one that I'll use. One of those. It has to play well with Amazon though. So yeah, I don't want to make a bunch of books unless I'm going to, but we'll see. By the way, if you guys have ideas on that, I'm not that far along in the process, so please let me know. Okay, so the second thing, there's a little info bullet here. It says there are many different ways to get Go on your machine. You can get installers like Brewin get an app, but not for now. Okay, so for now, I'm assuming that you don't know any of this. And if you do, that's awesome. Good for you, but I'm assuming you don't. Okay, so you could be a 10-year-old who's never used a computer before to install anything. So or you're a mom or a dad who wants to do that. Install a coding assistant. Okay, this is a new thing that we are going to install today, but it doesn't have the stuff in it yet that I'm writing this week. This week, I'm going to finish this part of it, and it will all be set up. So hopefully by next Sunday, you'll be able to do all of this installation, and it'll work. Right now, though, there is a dummy version of the command that you can try. So you can follow along with me, and this will probably be the last thing for today since we're almost out of time. But what you can do is you can open a terminal, and here's the best way to open a terminal on a Mac, Windows, or a Linux box. So if you're on a Mac, it's Control Space and type terminal, and that'll pull up a terminal. Okay, now my terminal's got color and stuff. Your terminal probably won't have that. It doesn't matter because we only want a terminal just to run and install the software. That's the only thing we want to do right now. Okay, if you're on a Windows machine, let me show the Windows machine really quick. I do have a Windows machine to show you. I have to connect to it. It's a remote machine, so give me a second. But if you're on a Windows machine, you can push the Windows key. Oh boy, what just happened? I pushed the wrong thing. Here we go. There we go. So you can push the Windows key and type either PowerShell or CMD, but I'm going to type PowerShell. And again, you don't need to learn PowerShell for this, right? This is just to get a shell. It's the only reason. And I'm actually going to try this here. I hope it's really small, but that doesn't matter. Okay, so now I don't even think I have Go installed. Do I have Go on here? I can't use which. I wonder if I even have Go on here. Go version. Go dash version. Oh, I don't have Go here. Okay, so let's do an install on this. This will be fun. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do an install. Where's my where's my web browser? I don't even know. All right, we'll do Firefox. Oh my god, my eyes. Okay, let's do what are we looking for? We're looking for oh yeah, go.dev DL download. Installing terminal instead of using CMD for PowerShell directly. Don't install terminal because I'm going to install terminal for you. I'm going to install Alacrity for you. So the answer is don't do that yet. If you want to do that, that's fine. But that's why I'm not having people do it. Just so you know. Okay. So the only purpose for this is to download the CodeMage installer, and then it will download Alacrity for you, so you don't have to do anything. I'll also install Git Bash for you. But because I had in the book, I had all the steps to install and configure all those little pieces, and then that used to be a problem. Yeah. So it's going to be in CM init. It'll tell you everything it's going to do. You'll be able to read the source code. You can actually go read the source code right now. So here we have an MSI installed. Let's see if it actually works. It may contain. Okay, I'm going to run it. I've never done this before, so this is a good test on Windows. So I'm going to click next. Next, I think I'm probably going to have to kick off the Git Bash installer automatically instead of accept a whole bunch of defaults. I don't know. We'll see. The goal for this is that this is really the only thing you have to install besides the other thing. Verify Gopher. And the reason we're not doing a binary and we're doing go get and go install is because that way you can do it over again and get the latest one every time, right? And it's also a really valid skill. Knowing how to do a go install from the command line is a really valid skill. You're going to be doing that for all kinds of things. For installing different Go binaries, that's a pretty common way to install it if you have Go installed, which allows you to get the latest of a thing rather than having to depend on their releases and their binaries and everything. Being able to do a Go install is a pretty powerful thing. So let's click on finish there. And let's go back to our PowerShell. And I don't know if there's going to be a Go here or not. Probably not. This is really live testing right here in front of everybody. See if we can get it to work. PowerShell. Go. Hey, look, Go's on there now. So I typed Go, enter, and it did a thing, right? So now we're going to install the CM command. I know you can't see this, so I'm going to zoom in because get the maximum size. I mean, I know it's still horrible, but we're not gonna customize the terminal. As somebody said, you could actually go in and install the Windows terminal if you want to, if you know how to do that. But I am actually going to install Alacrity for you because the Windows terminal is not GPU accelerated and Alacrity is. So that's why, in case you're wondering. So then we do this. We get to go install. All right, this is in the thing. This is in the book. Let's go see if we can find the book again. Where's the book? In fact, you can copy and paste it. Let's do that. Let's just go copy and paste it from the book. So let's like do the whole thing here. So we're gonna go find another one here. So let's see, rdvxrob.github.io/code mage book. All right, so here it is. And now we're going to go find the part about downloading stuff. Get a computer, install the Go language. Okay, so we did that. And now we're getting the terminal. And now we're installing the CM. There's a big warning that says, don't download software off the internet. It's usually a bad idea. And then it tells you to do it. The difference is that you can go look at this source code if you want. And you can see what's there. And you can trust that it's safe. Not just because I'm telling you it's safe, but because people can check this software and they can see if it's safe just by, just by, reading it. So if I put something bad in there, they would be available for everybody to see. There's no binary hiding anything in this case. So, okay, GitHub account, RDMX CodeMage book, command CM at latest. So I'm going to have to type that in. I don't think it's going to cut and paste for me. But let's go check. So it looks like there is winget over here that if you wanted to install Go, that's another way you could do it. Actually, it might not necessarily work for you though. So let's do that. Go install github.com/rwxrob. And I'm using / but that's fine because it's a URL. Controls what? Scroll? Oh, look at that. I've never done that before. Thank you. Thank you. I did not know what I was doing. I'm not a Windows guy, obviously. All right, so that's fantastic. Thank you very much. All right, so go install /rwxrob /CodeMage book /CMD/CM for CodeMage. And then you have to do this. You have to put at latest or it won't work. And now what this is doing is this is going to go grab the version of Go that goes with the program. It'll update it if you don't have the right one. And it's going to get all the things that this program needs. And then it's going to put it in the place that Go puts things so that you can use it as a command. The thing that's really amazing about this is you don't have to know any of those details. Right? You don't have to set up anything. You just can do the install and it's going to get it. It's going to show you all the stuff it's going to download. Is it downloading? Nice. So as I said, there's not a lot of stuff in here because I'm still working on it, but it has a few fun things that you'll be able to use right away to see if it's working. It's Bonsai. This is Bonsai. Yeah. We have a syscall error. Is Harlink redeclared in this block? Yeah, that might be a problem. There might be a Windows problem, my friends. I haven't tested this on Windows yet. I haven't tested it on Windows at all. So it might be that it has a problem that I don't have it run yet, but let's try it anyway. It doesn't look like it's going to go install on Windows today. It's Windows hell. The reason for this is because of see the futil Windows thing? I have isharlink in 2 places, and there's no way I would have ever known that until I ran a test on Windows. So you just saw the test live. Obviously, I told you this is... How many of you were able to run it anyway, though? If let's go back to Windows and to Mac. I'm sorry about the Windows bug. I am sincerely sorry about that. We will get rid of that bug. So actually, you can actually do the same thing here. So this is a Mac. If you have a Mac, you can do go install github.com. I'm on a Mac now, not on a Windows machine. /rwxrob /CodeMage book /CMD/CM at latest, and this should bring it on. Okay, so now we can actually run it. This is what it should be looking like. So there's no output there, but let's try this. CM help. So you can see, if you do CM help, you can see there's some stuff there. I will show you a way that you can actually do CM tab. If you are on a Mac or a Windows machine, if you're on Git Bash, eventually you'll be able to do this. CM, and that will allow you to do tab, and it will show you all the things that are there. So then you can do fun tab, and it'll show you all the commands. So CM help. If you want to see the help for help, you can do help. I'm being repressed. And so that's kind of the beginning. And then you can actually run some fun stuff. Watch your eyes here. But you can do, so CM, what is this one about? So let's do CM Sunrise. What is that about? So let's see, help Sunrise. Oh wait, help Fun Sunrise. So it says here, Sunrise it shows all the colors of the terminal. You can tell it how many things you want. This is just silly to get the idea. And let's do like a 20. And then let's just get rid of help here. And then let's do it. And now you can see all the different colors of the terminal. Now, as you can see in this terminal, the colors are not as pretty as they could be, right? And that is a nice segue into what CM is going to do. So we're going to stop for today, but later next week, we're going to do this, CM init. And that's not supported yet, but when you do CM init, it will install an Alacrity terminal for you, and which is what I have right here. I have Alacrity that I've been running in. This is my Alacrity terminal. Alacrity is a GPU accelerated millions of colors terminal. So now when I run CM Sunrise 20, CM Fun Sunrise 20, you'll get to see it's much nicer because it's an actual terminal. That's not dumb, right? Let's see if I can get it. My niece and nephew hooked on this. Roblox coding chapter would be probably good. Yeah, Roblox is really great. We're not going to do Roblox stuff, but I tell you what, the animation stuff might be the thing to get people into it. And there's lots of, you guys know about all the fun stuff you can do, writing, fishies and stuff. And we're actually going to be writing some terminal games at some point, and including, Magic 8 Ball and story games. And there are fun things to do from the terminal. And it depends. A lot of people, they want to have their really awesome graphics, but there's some element of like retro attraction, even with, really, I think there's a certain amount of retro attraction even for, it's funny because the people that respond to the terminal really respond to the terminal when they like this stuff, and so this is some of the fun stuff that we can do. A dice roller with ANSI color. Absolutely. We actually did a dice roller. That's one of the projects. I don't know if you know me. Maybe you already know me, but one of the things we regularly do is a dice roller, an ASCII dice roller. There's another one, PyLights that we did. PyLights is an animation that we made a long time ago. We do a story game. It depends. We may actually end up doing a WebSockets Agario clone, but I don't know if we're going to get to that part. But anyway, so that's it for today, but we're going to, let me go ahead and take you back through the book. So we made it all the way through installing the CM tool. If you had any problem with any of those steps, please let me know. And if you want to open an issue, you can open an issue. I'll show you how to do this. Oh, another couple things that you can do. Actually, this, I haven't updated it yet. So there are two steps that haven't moved here. So we need to have, where is it? You need to get an email address if you don't have one. If you don't have an email address, I suggest Proton Mail. I can't open it because it'll open my mail. I suggest Proton Mail if you don't have an email address. It's free. It's private. I'm not going to violate your privacy like Google. It's awesome. I really love it. And you need to get a GitHub account. So if you have not created a GitHub account yet, you need to go do that. And you need to have your mom or dad help you if you are younger than 13. Strictly speaking, I think you're not supposed to have an account. When I mentored people under 13, I had to ask their parents. I said, look, this is against the law to have them have an account. Are you okay with it? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. So that's your decision, though, but I'm just telling you so you can make an informed decision. There used to be a time when it was a felony under Aaron Schwartz to use a system like Google if you were under 13. It was a felony, and that's obviously not true anymore. So interestingly enough, if you are already into Go and you want to go a list. You can click on Awesome Go, github.com, artmixrob/awesome-go. That's got a few more things in here, but this is more for people that want to kind of go do their own thing now. So that's it. This is the end of this part. When we come back, so next week we'll have it up. We'll have the thing up, and we're going to go forward and we're going to learn so let me just show you what the IDE is going to do. And if you want to do these steps by yourself, you can do these steps by yourself if you don't want to wait for me to write an installer for you. And that includes installing actually Pink Rubber Boots. Do you have the terminal? Do you have Windows Preview? if you have Windows Preview, if you want to try Sunrise and see if it actually does it fast enough, that'd be interesting to know. So before we get too far on this part, there are lots and lots and lots of options. All right. So there's lots of options about what to install and how to install it. And rather than get really bogged down by making all those decisions, I just made a bunch of safe, healthy preference decisions ahead of time so that you don't have to deal with this now. Now you can always come back and add it. So the first decision is, and this will be good. We'll go through this because you can install this stuff. If you want to jump ahead, you can install this stuff on your own if you know how. So the first one is you need a package manager. So if you're on a Mac, you need Brew. You need to install Brew. You can go look it up. Winget is already on your system. You don't need that. You need to install Bash, the latest Bash with Brew, and the latest or Get Bash on Windows. And you need to install Shell Check on whatever system you're on. Okay, so that is need to be installed. This also includes setting up so the CM init will also add a bashrc file, a pretty reasonable bashrc file that has Groovebox colors, and this will install Alacrity with the Groovebox material theme that uses Bash as a default shell. Yeah, I know people are like, I want to use these shell. That's fine. Come back and change it later. Groovebox material theme will be installed. This is the point at which I decided I had to make an installer because there's a lot of custom TOML files and you have to go open it with a file editor and you have to put it in the right location and everything. It's just a bunch of wasted time if you just want to get coding. I am going to install NeoVim plus plugins depending on what computer you have. If you have a Raspberry Pi, we're not going to do this. It's too much. So the plugins are going to be minimal. Who the hell is TOML? Lol. So we're going to install NeoVim plus plugins and then my VimRC and NeoVimRC. So that is why we're doing that. There's a whole write-up on why to use VimRC down here if you want to read about it. But, there you go. This is a comment warning about not getting bloated. NeoVim, again, you don't even know what Vim is yet. You've never used it. So that's why we're going to install it. Tmux, what's a window manager and how to use it. This is how you're going to interact with the terminal, and you're going to be able to cut and paste and do lots of fun things here. There's a little story here about how Tmux saved my job more than once, actually. We're going to use NeoVim, but we're going to use a VimRC configuration with NeoVim so that if you're on a system that does not have NeoVim, it will still work, which is different than most NeoVim setups. Most NeoVim setups, they create a thing that only works with NeoVim, and they unnecessarily install things using Lua that they could have done with VimRC instead. Not here. So this is using VimScript with Lua or the Lua stuff. So the stuff that's Lua only, including screen key, which is built in, by the way. So you guys will all get your own screen key built in. That thing that shows up on the top, you guys. It's turned off by default, but you can turn it on just by setting an environment variable if you want to have that. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. So if you're like that stuff at the top here, that's all built in. So yeah, and so back to here. So Tmux, you can go ahead and install Tmux. I am definitely installing a custom screen Tmux. There's reasons for it, but you don't need to know them. We are not using Control B as a leader in Vim, and because reasons. The main reason is screen. Screen compatibility is really important if you're on any Unix system besides a modern Linux system that has Tmux. So, and it also has VI navigation. So you're learning a very, very customized version of Tmux. Later on, if you decide you don't want to learn it that way, that's fine. I have helped hundreds of people go through this way and create the muscle memory for Tmux that matches what they would do out of the box if they had screen. Why they made it incompatible with screen muscle memory, I have no idea. That's one of the biggest mysteries of life to me, is why Tmux unnecessarily broke muscle memory compatibility with its ancestor screen. And I don't know the reason. I think it's stupid. And I have a Tmux that actually matches it, so the skills you're learning will translate to any Unix system on the planet, not just to, because they all have screen on it by default. And you guys think that that's not a thing, but I'm telling you, when I first got a job, all there was Solaris and AIX, and that's still true. There are still hundreds of thousands of jobs where there's no Linux. It's Unix or AIX. So you're learning skills that will apply to all of Unix, not just to Linux. What's that? It's not built in. You've added a plugin for Screen Key. I know. I said I'm going to add a plugin for that. So I did. I don't know if I didn't say it, but Screen Key is not built in. Screen is built in. I think you're confusing the two. So there's a tool called Screen, which is the ancestor of Tmux. Predecessor of Tmux. Did I say ancestor? I think I have it wrong in the book. Migrate application from AIX to Red Hat right now, right? So you know, this is one of those things where when people years later will say, Mr. Rob, I am so glad you taught me X or Y, because I could use AIX, or this thing I had to do, a one-off thing. I could save the day. And they don't even know I'm preparing them for those things a lot of times. 30-something application. Yeah, and there's a lot of them, right? So, we're disappointed for using BIMscript. I don't give a shit what Prime thinks. Using BIMscript and using Lua unnecessarily and making your VimRC incompatible with Vim is stupid. It's objectively stupid and unnecessary. The Primeagen, somebody's commenting on YouTube about Primeagen saying he'll be disappointed if I use BIMscript. The reason I'm using BIMscript is because I am helping you become productive on any computer, any Unix system, any system with Vim on the planet, not just your personalized laptop that you've built up and got all kinds of crap on, and now you've got some random weird thing. There are a lot of people that spend their entire day on the same computer and never access another computer. I am not preparing you to be those people. I talked at length about preparing you to be a successful, multifaceted technologist, which means that you can bridge the fence between operations and development. If you do things like Prime, who uses Control-C for escape, which is the single stupidest thing I have ever heard anybody ever do in their customizations of Vim. If he's going to give me crap about using VimScript, I'm going to give him crap about using a fucking system interrupt instead of escape, when Control left bracket would have been just fine. That's all I have to say about that. We'll agree to disagree. I love Prime. We rate him all the time, but I don't want to hear about him being disappointed. It's craziness. Okay, I think it's probably time. Just use dedicated escape. Hell no. Do you want to make yourself completely impossible anywhere else? Don't do that. Use Control left bracket. Use Control left bracket. He's a right tool for the job. Would give a shit. Yeah, and his right tool for the job is he never leaves his computer. So Control left bracket. Control left bracket, team. It's exactly the same. By the way, Chite taught me about Control. What is it? I think it's Control O, which is tab, which is easier than hitting the tab key. So anyway, so I don't like uncap. No, I would do that. I just don't do that. If you're going to change a key, change uncap. All of the things that people do to change their keyboard and like there's a million things to do to Vim to make it not use escape. First of all, tell me why you're not using Control left bracket. Control left bracket only works for non-European keyboards. I know Europeans who have American keyboards because they prefer that. You know why? Because they want to be able to use their keyboard everywhere. They want to be able to use their keyboard everywhere. But a keyboard is a personal thing, and if you're carrying your keyboard around under your arm, my recommendation is to get a keyboard that lets you remap keys, and I would remap Control caps lock to escape. That's what I would do. I haven't done that, but that's what I would do if I was going to do that. Because why? Because caps lock used to be escape. It used to be escape. That used to be the escape key. And so, yeah, that's what I would say about that. Caps lock is escape because who the hell needs caps lock? Yeah, you don't need, caps lock. Nobody needs caps lock. And it also used to be escape. So I think if you're going to remap a key, I think that would be the safest one. Plus, it's also, if you get stuck on a system where you have to use escape and you're used to using your pinky for it, then you can go up and do that if you want to do that. But I don't. I use Control left bracket, and I use Control I for tab these days. Yeah. So yes, I don't. I use Shift and caps lock toggles caps lock for me if I really need it. Yeah. Yep. Listen here, I need caps lock. If you need caps lock, then yeah, do shift caps lock. So if you're gonna remap, but I would not, remap. What's that? They'll love Vim. I don't. Where are you thinking that I hate Linux? That is strong words. I have several. I started tuxzone.net. I've been a Linux advocate my entire life. How dare you say that I hate Linux? Why? Where's that even coming from? Where is that coming from? How do people figure? Dude, I've got 25 Linux machines within 10 feet of me. Within 10 feet, I have 25 virtual Linux machines right there that I use all the time, that I constantly set up my Kubernetes clusters on. But I'm a Linux hater? I don't understand. What's that? I use caps lock as escape? Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing to do. Microsoft shell. Yeah, I'm a Microsoft shell. I'm using... Oh, God. I did say that I like BSD better than Linux. And I did say that I did say that Linux for gaming on the desktop is stupid. I did say that. Why would you do that when you can do that with Windows? I don't understand. Just because you want to be able to say you did it, I guess. Microsoft is still confirmed, yes. It's probably time for me to stop talking. I did say that about GitLab. I did. I hate saying that. I wish GitLab was not that bad. It is, though. W3M mods and Claude. So this used to be Lynx, and now it's W3M. I actually used W3M successfully today for most of the day. I was using W3M for everything. So if you go look for something. Yeah, I've been using W3M lately as opposed to Lynx. And... it is a little bit more typing. But you can spam the keys. It's better for a beginner for sure. It is a little bit weird because to go back, you can't just push H. You have to do, God, I don't even remember. Is it capital M? Nope, that's open the thing. Capital M opens up the web browser. So we're going to do that later. That's all stuff. And you don't need to customize it. That's what's so great about W3M is it comes built in. But we will do customizations on that. Oh, wait. You need to make it so that it opens up your web browser. Yeah, that's the only customization you need to do. If you're on a Mac, I'm automatically going to make it... is it Shift B? That's why I don't like... It's like one of the main things about W3M that I don't like is that it's a two-handed thing. On Lynx, I can drink coffee in one hand and browse with my right hand. And I probably could set that up. Is it Control B? It's Shift B. I wish it wasn't Shift B, honestly. I really wish it wasn't Shift B. You have W3M configured for Vim bindings. Well, I have it sort of configured. Mine is configured for Vim bindings, but I think it's by default it's configured for Vim bindings. Hit Shift with your right pinky. Yeah, but see, I want this hand for copy. See, look, this is why I like Lynx better. I can browse the entire thing with one hand and drink my coffee while I'm browsing. You can't do that. You can't do that with W3M because you have to be able to go back. You have to type Shift. Yeah, this one's the one. Okay, here we go. Shift M, and that'll open up your web browser. This is another reason that we are not using a container and not using a VM. You see how I just opened my native web browser? How am I supposed to... Wait, are you saying do it with one hand? I guess I could learn how to do that. You're saying do it with this hand as opposed... Okay, wait, I gotta try that. So you're saying you shift B from this hand? I never do anything with... Okay, fine. I guess you could do Shift B. I guess... That is just so uncomfortable to me, especially since H goes back. H goes back if you're using, who really needs to go left and right, right? 2 megabytes is insane, yes. So do you really need to be able to go left and right when you're like scrolling? This is the difference between links. Links actually goes through the links instead of this. All right, so let me say this. So, okay. All right, so now I'm going to do Shift M. I guess I can do it with one hand. I guess I can. I guess I can, friends. I was wrong. So Shift B. I don't do Shift B very much, but I guess I can. I can do it. I can do Shift B. I can do Shift B. You're right. Put pedals. Yeah, I think I just learned how to do Shift. You thank you for saying that. I'm a big links guy. You guys know that. But I'm getting used to the Shift thing. It's like not too bad actually. So there. Wiktionary, the free Wiktionary. You know what I do like this better is that it's so much better for searching and stuff. Like the form fields actually work. And I don't like how it organizes paragraph text, but it is kind of okay. So you can go here. Yeah, and I'm going to go back and back. Oh, wow. That totally works. Links supports a JS, right? Yeah. Well, links by default has it when I browse links, it also goes through each of the when I push down, it goes to the next link, and then if you want to page, but you can page up. I think W3M. I'm going to use W3M from now on, just to get used to it. And again, I don't use it as much because I'm using mods for everything now, mods in ChatGPT. But yeah, going back is the thing. The reason I think W3M is better for beginners is it's more intuitive. This is just W3M out of the box with no custom. The only customization is I changed the default browser to be open so that it does the right thing. Before it was like kind of messed up. So that's like the only thing different. And I feel like I can totally get behind this actually. I do like being able to push L to follow a link though. That's kind of burned into my muscle memory. So this is going to take a little bit of learning for me, but I'm going to be learning it along with you. Still can't be sold. See, this is what I was trying to tell you. You can actually fill forms out. You can't fill forms out very well using the other stuff. It's not as good. It's not as good at all. Yeah. So anyway, that's W3M for you. And you can do Shift M and open up DuckDuckGo. Hello. Or whatever. And all that stuff's going to be set up for you when you do your install. You see them in it, and it'll do it for you. So I'm gonna go now because I've been doing this for a long time. So Tmux, if you want to know what's next, learn the basic shell commands, learn the basic Vim usage, learn basic Tmux. This can all be learned in an hour. So to fix Bonsai build, you should add backslash to build Windows. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. I know about that. Thank you. Yes, I absolutely know that. That I just didn't do it. It has underscore Windows already in the name. Yeah, I there was some conditional compilation that I did recently, that I'm gonna have to go back to. So I've been trying to decide, by the way, if I want to have Windows automatically implement the functions for installing Git Bash and stuff like that. Vim in 1 hour. Yeah, absolutely. In less than an hour. You can learn all of Vim in like 10 minutes necessary to start editing files. And then everything else is just add on to that. It's just extra. But you could start editing files today. You know what? I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So, simple VI. Is it VI simple or simple VI? It might be basic. I can't remember. I can't remember it. So I can go find it. I have a cheat sheet for this already. It can take you 4 years, yeah. But you can actually. You don't need to do Vim Tutor. You don't even need that. I have done this with hundreds of people, and I'll show you the only things you need to know. I have to find where it is though. I'm trying to find, where's my code? Knowledge. Styles, old index, redirects. I don't see it. VI survive. There it is. That's it. VI survive. So this is VI survival. And this will be in the CM tool. This will be in the CM tool. So it's artifactsrob.gg VI survive. This stuff is going away though. So that's it. That is all you need to learn. And I know someone's going to say, oh my God, arrow keys. You know what? It's intuitive. You know who else uses arrow keys? Nano. You know who else uses arrow keys? Emacs. So before you go writing off VI, it's actually easier to use VI than Nano. And I have objective proof of that. Helping beginners as young as 10 years old learn VI. This is all they have to learn. How do I go back and forth between between insert mode and not? And when they first start out, they touch escape. When they first start, they do escape, and then they learn control left bracket eventually. Eventually they learn that, or they remap escape or whatever, but they don't need it on the first day. On the first day, all they need to have is this cheat sheet in front of them, and that's built into CM. It has using the arrow keys, how to exit, which is the long running joke about Vim, and how to save. That's it. How do you move around? How do you save? Because Vim added arrow key support for both insert mode and command mode. So you can use arrow keys. If you allow them to use the arrow keys and then you tell them, okay, eventually you need to learn HJ, whatever, then they can get going right away. And then you can say, okay, now go do the Vim Tutor. And then the Vim Tutor takes 20 or 30 minutes. And I have a better version of Vim Tutor coming. Which is already easier than Emacs. Churchgoers where it hurts. Yeah. The Church of Emacs. Yes. So yeah, but Nano has control, all this other crap. I have personally watched kids screw up by using control stuff. This is the reason telling someone to use Control C instead of escape is totally stupid. Totally stupid. It's irresponsible. There, I'm done. Time for me to go raid somebody. I'm done streaming today. You guys have got plenty to go on. And so, anyway, who should we go raid? I'm just going to go raid somebody randomly, and then I'm going to leave. I will be back later tonight, and I will be doing, I'm going to be building the tool that we've been talking about. So I'm going to be building the configurator thing, and I'm going to put in the cheat sheet that I told you about. I'm going to put it into the CM tool. So that's all going to be in there. And if you want to get the latest, you can actually follow and subscribe to that GitHub repo, and you can see what you can see when changes are made. So that if you want to do, pull latest, you can pull the latest, and you can get, the new things that I put in there. And the first thing I'm going to put in there is my one screen cheat sheet that I used for 8 years to teach beginners. And it has every single thing you need to survive from the terminal in one screen. And then from there, you can build up everything that goes on to that. Okay. Yeah. Nacho, it's great having you. Appreciate you being here. It should be learned on day one. I think it should be learned on day one too. In fact, I used to disable the arrow keys. I used to disable the arrow keys, and I didn't even let them do that. But then they couldn't do anything. So they couldn't even like go to the tutorial to show what they were doing. So usually when we do the VI thing, I show them the cheat sheet, and then the second thing I show them is how to do. By the way, they use the arrow keys automatically. I've watched every kid I've ever taught BI. When they go into BI and they're trying to figure it out, they use the arrow keys automatically to the point where I disabled the arrow keys in the default configuration because I was like, no, you need to not do that. And then I backtracked and I was like, okay, eventually they're going to come around and they're going to not use them, but you have to let them kind of do that on their own. And it's really important that people understand this because you might not remember it, but you had a hard time with BI once upon a time with Vim. Once upon a time when you first started, you did not like it. And it took a lot, it's easy for us now, particularly people like me, to say, oh, you need to do it this way and it's the only way. And we forget how scary the terminal was and how scary, only editing files in Vim was. And all that went with that. And I think it's really easy to get disconnected from that. Right. And, everybody's really, this is a common problem I saw all over the place. It's like we'd have kids that would like literally be almost crying because of frustration for something in coding or something. And then they would get good at it. And then somebody else would have a problem with it. And they're like, oh, that's easy. It's like human nature to do that. It's so mean, by the way. It's so mean. It's so mean. I remember when they were crying their eyes out because they were so frustrated. And I'm not even kidding. They were actually crying. I had some kids that were trying to learn something and everybody else was doing really well and they couldn't get it. And so they started crying and they were frustrated. And within a week, they figured it out. And then the new kids that they were in the class with, they couldn't figure it out. And they were like, oh yeah, so easy. Let me show you. And they would like kick them out of the way and show them how awesome they were. And I was like, first of all, that's not how you teach somebody. That's not how you teach somebody anything. You don't take over the keyboard and do it for them. That's flexing. That's not teaching. Teaching says, okay, you need to talk to them and encourage them to do it. And oh yeah, it's super easy. Let me show you. It wasn't easy. You were crying your eyes out last week. We forget this. Humans are mean that way. We're mean that way. We like to show how awesome we are. Vim Adventures is fun, but not. I can't recommend Vim Adventures. If you're going to learn Vim, do Vim Tutor. Use Vim Tutor, not Vim Adventures. I told everybody this. I paid for Vim Adventures for 3 years, and I watched everybody not learn Vim. They learned how to play Vim Adventures, but they didn't learn Vim. Stick them in Vim Tutor, and they couldn't do anything. So I'm telling you, this is like hard won experience on this thing, helping people learn this. The single best way to learn Vim is the Vim Tutor. Unfortunately, my Vim Tutor is better. My Vim Tutor is the Vim Tutor. It's just got the stuff that's missing from the college kids version of the Vim Tutor. There were a bunch of Colorado college kids who just barely learned Vim when they made that, right? It's missing a ton of crap. It's missing so much stuff. So, I mean, like little things that should be in there. Some of it's actually dead wrong. So, but it's still the best thing. It's still the best thing. So, you can Vim with me and me by Prime. You can Vim with me by Prime. But Tutor and Grind is the way, yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree. I tend to agree Vim Tutor is the way to go. So, Vim Tutor is definitely the best thing we have right now. But I do have a variation of Vim Tutor, which is almost identical to the other Vim Tutor document. The really genius of Vim Tutor is you're actually using Vim to edit the file. All it does is make a file and let you edit it. The end. And it just talks to you about how to edit the file. You know what I mean? But yeah, things got forgot. Passing. So yeah, it's probably what was happening. Who knows? Yeah, who are we reading? Is there anybody up? It's Sunday night. Usually there's not anybody around right now. Anybody obviously on right now that I can raid? Oh, I don't know any of these people. I don't know why I'm just recommending those people to me. Sign Voxel? Okay. Done. Music channels are cool. Pixel got the recommendation in first, so we'll see you guys next week, if not sooner. I'm going to be busy coding and stuff later tonight, so but yeah. Ooh, SQLite. Fun. SQLite's cool. Not necessary. initially, but good night, guys. See you later. I'm hungry. What am I going to eat? Why is my raid now not coming up? Bye, Craigmaster. My raid now is not coming up. Does he have raids blocked? It is up. See you, Smith. Yeah, Maya Wolf, we could, but no. Just wait for it. It's good old Twitch for you. Yeah. Rest of the day. Yeah, we'll see what it ends up doing. I don't know. I've got some coding I need to get done. I guess we're gonna see if it works or not. Oh, there we go. Ad break incoming. My computer doesn't even work. What the hell? Very sad. Did the raid go through? Oh, looks like it finally went through. It did. All right, bye everybody.